Been 1 year since a scary Memorial Day weekend at Little River Canyon in DeKalb County. We hear from a survivor of an accident at the park who hopes her story will save lives.
Another sweltering day in North Alabama. Chief Meteorologist Kate McKenna is tracking a hot week. She'll also tell you if you can expect any rain to cool things down.
Just in the last few hours, groups in Huntsville wrapped up an event commemorating George Floyd. Today marks 1 year since Floyd's death at the hands of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Megan Reyna. Way 31 Sierra Phillips was at that event and is live at Big Spring Park with what organizers are calling for next. Sierra.
Tonight, more than 100 people met at St. John AME Church here in Huntsville and then walked to here at Big Spring Park. There were speakers, spoken word poets, and singers. Take a listen. Speakers from across different social justice organizations in Huntsville spoke about the impact George Floyd's death had on them personally and the community around them.
We gather in the name of justice. We gather in the name of equality.
Speakers also focused on change they want to see here in Huntsville.
I refuse to stand by and allow police officers, public officials, or government agencies to abuse their power and take us back to the 1950s.
After those speeches, they walked for 9 minutes and 20 seconds to symbolize the amount of time George Floyd was on the ground with a police officer's knee pressed on his neck.
I can't breathe.
The march was semi-silent. The group only said the words George Floyd spoke almost 30 times before his death. The crowd carried candles here to Big Spring Park. They were encouraged to social distance as they did. Reporting live in Huntsville, Sierra Phillips, Way 31 News.
We are wrapping up the hottest day of the year so far. 92 degrees officially in Huntsville today. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Kate McKenna.
Kate, can we expect a cool down this week?
No, eventually we can. We've got a couple more hot days to get through first. It's this weekend where you'll really notice the cooler temperatures in place. Right now, though, we're at 74 degrees at the airport in Huntsville, reporting a mostly clear sky, a nice calm wind, so it's comfortably mild out there right now. Elsewhere, it's a little bit still on the warmer side. Muscle Shoals are at 77 degrees, 72 though in Fayetteville and in Moulton, right at the 70-degree mark in Fort Payne, 75 in Decatur and Guntersville. Earlier today, we had a couple of spotty showers in Jackson, DeKalb counties. That was being picked up by our Guntersville radar site, but right now all across the Way 31 Storm Tracker early warning radar network, that's a quiet picture at each one of our 3 radars, but just for good measure, you'll see that it's quiet around Guntersville, quiet around Muscle Shoals, those minute-by-minute scans, and of course it's more of the same coming from Decatur right now. So for Wednesday, got a few thunderstorms back in the forecast, specifically later in the afternoon into tomorrow evening. We're going to see that thunderstorm chance increase to about 30%. The temperatures, they're still hot tomorrow, but not as hot as today. I've got your forecast high at 90 degrees. And depending on when that rain rolls in, that's going to really kind of put a cap on just how hot we're able to get tomorrow. We've got a cold front on the way on Friday. That makes a huge difference in our temperatures for the weekend. So that's what I'm going to be tracking for you coming up.
All right, thank you so much, Kate. Well, you can track rain moving through the area right now on your smartphone. The Way 31 Storm Tracker weather app provides emergency alerts, real-time updates, and live access to the Storm Tracker early warning radar network. Stay ahead of any severe weather threat by downloading the Storm Tracker weather app today.
A Georgia woman who survived a drowning at Little River Canyon last Memorial Day is sharing her story in hopes it will help others be more cautious this holiday weekend. Kenzie Wetzel told Way 31 that she and her friends were in the river when she slipped and fell. Wetzel then went under the waterfall before finding the strength to cling to a rock. It took first responders about 2 hours to get to her, and by then she had multiple broken bones. Wetzel says she still suffers from PTSD from the accident and hopes when people hear her story that they take it upon themselves to be extra cautious when out on the water.
Real, that river is not safe. I don't care how low, I don't care how slow it's going. I don't care if you're ankle deep, that river will take you.
Park rangers say they will have all hands on deck when it comes to staffing and first responders to avoid another year like the last one.
We're going to take a look now at the state's vaccination progress. More than 1.6 million people have received at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. That's according to the Alabama Department of Public Health. More than 1.3 million people are fully vaccinated. The state has administered a total of close to 3 million vaccine doses to this state. That's out of more than 4.2 million doses delivered to this state. Nationally, the U.S. saw a major milestone in its vaccination effort today. According to data from the CDC, 50% of Americans are now fully vaccinated. But here in Alabama, health experts say we're a long way from reaching that benchmark. In fact, not a single county has reached the 50% threshold. Dr. Karen Landers with the Alabama Department of Public Health says the issue isn't supply.
We still have a percent of the population that has not started any vaccine at all. It's readily available. It's really in every corner of Alabama.
Dr. Landers said a major concern is that if the state isn't using the vaccine it's being given, they could be relocated to another state. Most Alabama counties have only vaccinated 30 to 40% of their populations. We're learning more about COVID-19 breakthrough cases. That's when someone gets the virus despite being fully vaccinated. According to the CDC, more than 10,000 breakthrough cases were reported as of April 30th. That's out of about 100 million fully vaccinated people. The breakthrough cases make up a small percent of all COVID cases. The CDC admits their system relies on voluntary reporting. Also, some breakthrough cases could be asymptomatic, so they may go untested or unreported.
Moderna says its COVID-19 vaccine appears to work in teenagers. The company said its results show a 100% efficacy rate. This comes after a study involving more than 3,700 participants between the ages of 12 and 17. Right now, the Moderna vaccine only has emergency use authorization for Americans 18 and older. But the company plans to submit data from the trial to regulators in early June, which could lead to expanded use. We know now that different schools will have different masking requirements for summer school students and staff. Madison County and Madison City schools are making face coverings optional, but those attending summer classes at Huntsville City Schools will be required to wear masks. We know a decision about the school's masking policy in the fall will be made before the school year begins in August.
The man who stole money from the fallen Huntsville Police Officer Memorial Fund will spend about 3 years in federal prison. Devontae Hammonds admitted to not only diverting people's mail to his address to steal their information and money, but to stealing money from the Billy Clardy Memorial Fund. We first brought you this as breaking news at midday. Clardy was a Huntsville police officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty in 2019. Wade 31 had the only reporter in Birmingham in that courtroom for the sentencing hearing this morning. There, Hammond's attorney argued his actions were caused by drug abuse problems. But prosecutors argued that while they sympathized with his drug issue, it, quote, doesn't in any way excuse it.
Our heart goes out to the family of that officer. Anytime that a family loses a loved one who is serving his country in the line of duty, that's a big deal. And we appreciate his service, and we're just grateful that we could get some measure of justice for that family.
Hammonds will also be required to pay more than $12,000 in restitution. The judge ordered he pay $25 per month while in prison. At this time, it's unclear which federal facility he'll go to.
Today is a big day in history for the Rocket City. 60 years ago today, on May 25th, 1961, President John F. Kennedy delivered a speech to a joint session of Congress urging funding for what was quite literally an out-of-this-world goal, landing Americans on the moon.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
That speech is credited with galvanizing the country behind a shared goal. It accelerated the space race between the U.S. and Soviet Union. It also changed Huntsville forever as NASA turned to the Marshall Space Flight Center and the team led by Wernher von Braun to develop the Saturn V rocket. And a little over 8 years later, NASA launched Apollo 11 and landed Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon. Right now, there are dozens of open missing children's cases on the books in Alabama. The Morgan County Sheriff's Office has some tips to make sure your children don't wind up on that list.
Sky-high gas prices might discourage you from traveling this Memorial Day weekend, but if you have to do If you do have a destination, rather, the Alabama Law Department of Transportation has some tips to get you there safely.
I'm Way 31 Chief Meteorologist Kate McKenna. It is nice and quiet tonight. Beautiful viewing for that full moon out there. Temperatures comfortable as well. I'm tracking what's in store though for your Wednesday when the storms are back. Coming up.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching Way 31 News at 10 with the Way 31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network.
(10:13), you're taking a live look here at Toyota Field from the Way 31 Air Care System Sky Camera Network. They're wrapping up the first of the Trash Pandas of 6 home games now back in town after a 9-day road trip. And that series is against the Birmingham Barons. Way 31 Sports Director Lyndon Blake was at the game tonight. She'll have the final score, highlights, and more coming up here in just a few minutes in sports. And you don't have tickets for that home game, don't despair. You can watch every Trash Pandas home game right here on the official home of the Trash Pandas, This TV. You can find it over the air on channel 31.6 or on some select cable providers. We're adding new cable providers all the time, so check back frequently for updates to see when you can watch at home. And you can stay up to date with that kind of information and with all things Trash Pandas. We publish a twice-weekly newsletter about the team. You can sign up to have it delivered directly to your email inbox. Just go to the Rocket City Trash Pandas tab on our website, waytv.com.
All right, I think I'll sign up for that. Well, the deadline for the Trash Pandas to make their first of several monthly payments to the city of Madison is approaching. It's part of a new agreement between the city and the team. The Trash Pandas have to pay the city $100,000 by June 1st. The team will pay the city on the 1st of every month through September to make up for money owed from last year.
New information, there are currently 50 missing children investigations open right now in Alabama. There are some things you can do right now to prepare for the unthinkable. Law enforcement agencies we spoke with said it's important to have a recent photo of your child. It's also good to have a child ID kit, which will contain things like fingerprints, medical records, and a DNA swab. They say it's also important to just talk with your kids about who is in their life.
Know what they're doing online, know who they're interacting with, know who they're going to be with.
You can pick up a child ID kit at the Decatur Police Department for free any day of the week.
If you have Memorial Day travel plans, gas prices might cause you to reconsider. The national average for the price of gas is just over $3 a gallon. The U.S. hasn't seen prices this high since 2014. It's also an increase of more than $1 per gallon from the week preceding Memorial Day last year. Some of the price increase is due to the cyber attack on the Colonial Pipeline earlier this month. The global price of oil is also up significantly from last year. AAA expects 37 million Americans will travel this Memorial Day weekend. And if that didn't deter you and you're one of those people, the Alabama Department of Transportation has some tips to keep you safe on the road. Those include leaving extra room between vehicles in case traffic slows suddenly, wear your seatbelt, and go reasonably with your speed when you pass other vehicles. And the department expects more people on the roads this weekend, so for safety reasons, there will be no lane closures on Alabama interstates from Friday through Monday.
Right before the unofficial start of summer over the weekend, a Sand Mountain Water Park is now open. The splash pad is back up and running today for those who want to beat the heat. You can visit the splash pad this week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The outdoor water park will open this Saturday at 10 a.m. Admission is $15 for adults for the day. Kids under 4 are free. Another shortage caused by the coronavirus pandemic could leave you sweating: air conditioners. HVAC production lines shut down in 2020, and now air conditioning units and the parts required to fix them are getting harder and harder to come by. Air conditioning suppliers in Florida have seen prices on mid-range equipment rise by 15% since the start of the year. They could go as high as 30% by 2022.
Weather coverage you can count on with Chief Meteorologist Kate McKenna and the Way 31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network.
Got a full moon tonight, super flower blood moon. So a lot of names for a really lovely view out there. I don't know if you got a chance to see this right after moonrise, but it does appear a little bit larger just because the moon is a little bit closer. And aside from the fact that we've got a full moon, we've also got a total lunar eclipse tonight. But in Alabama, you're likely not going to be able to see it because it occurs right around sunrise. But you can still go out and take a gander. Mostly clear tonight, so fine viewing for most of the night for that full moon. 75 degrees our current temperature indicator. Now, as you take a look elsewhere, we're at 74 degrees in Huntsville, 72 in Florence, 73 in Scottsboro. As we get closer to sunrise tomorrow morning, that's typically when temperatures are at their coolest before they start warming. We'll be cooling down to the mid-60s for most of us. Here's your view across the Way 31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network. Quiet picture at each one of our 3 radars. Muscle Shoals, Decatur, Gunnersville, no rain tonight. By this time tomorrow night, though, maybe a little bit different. But as we take you site by site here, you'll see that that's a quiet view right now in Marshall County. No different right along the Limestone-Morgan County line in Decatur. And there's your view of Muscle Shoals with most minute-by-minute scans. In the Garden early tomorrow morning, I told you we're cooling as cool as the mid-60s, but by 6 o'clock we're already back up to 67, 73 by 8 a.m. And we'll be back close to 90 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. You heard that story before weather about the AC parts getting harder to come by. Your AC is going to get plenty of use again for your Wednesday. Future radar tonight through tomorrow. By 6 a.m., you'll start to see a little bit of cloud cover trying to creep in from the west here, and this particular data source does show a couple of spotty showers. As we continue to play this out, though, timing has changed a little bit with this broken line of storms moving through. This is now 2 o'clock. That continues to track eastward, but it really kind of fizzles once it moves or tries to move east of I-65. This is the view by 4 o'clock. This is the view by 6 o'clock. There's 8. This is not looking quite as organized as what we were seeing earlier this evening. So I've still got your rain chance at 30%. Not everyone's going to get rain tomorrow. And I still say it's worth keeping an eye on for the trash pandas at home again tomorrow night. But by 8 o'clock, everything really does start to fizzle. And by 10 o'clock, we got just maybe a stray shower left over and a mostly cloudy sky through early Thursday morning. 20% chance for a shower or a storm is back on Thursday as well. Better rain chances hold off until Friday. Once we get to Friday, we've got a cold front that's going to be rolling through. Look what it does to the temperatures. Just focusing on highs here for the next few days. 86 Friday before the front passes, down to 80 degrees on Saturday. I keep saying, you know, when we're talking about going to the lake, going to the pool, I think mid 80s, lower 90s, that's the kind of weather that you want for that. That's a touch on the cool side if you're trying to get, maybe say poolside. 87 degrees for Monday, Sunday, we're at 83. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of what this is going to look like for Friday, here comes the rain. It's most widespread during the afternoon as that front's coming through. Still some lingering rain by Friday night and by Saturday morning. It's out of here. Your 7-day forecast shows us that we do have dry weather over the weekend. Mostly sunny, only a 10% chance for maybe a lingering shower early Saturday morning.
A former Alabama governor who went to prison for corruption is allowed to practice law again.
What Don Siegelman wants to focus on now that he has his law license back.
Her birthday was last week. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
As soon as I said mic check, you just quit talking.
Because I was breathing.
Yeah.
It's required.
One of Madison's newest developments is getting a new restaurant. J. Alexander's is set to open in town Madison. We expect to learn more about the new eatery at a groundbreaking ceremony tomorrow. We know the event is scheduled on Zert Road by Toyota Field, and we'll let you know when we have more information.
A former Alabama governor who went to prison for corruption can start practicing law again. The Alabama Bar Association confirmed Don Siegelman's law license was restored in December. He was released from prison in 2017 after serving 6 years for bribery and obstruction of justice. Siegelman said he wants to work with public defenders or advocacy groups to take on criminal defense cases.
The Trash Pandas are back home, so let's head to Toyota Field next in sports to see how Rocket City fared against the Birmingham Barons.
And now, sports coverage you can count on with Wave 31 Sports Director Lyndon Blake.
The Trash Pandas are back home for a 2-week homestand. It starts tonight at Toyota Field against the Birmingham Barons. The kids are loving the berm out there in right field. Fired up crowd tonight. Reid Detmers on the mound, getting another series start. He has a 3.12 ERA right now, and he's looking for his first win of the year. Bottom of the second, Izzy Wilson up. Is he gonna do it? He does. He sends this one straight to the parking lot over right center. Trash Pandas up 1-0 early. Barons would tie the game on a sac fly, so a 1-1 ball game midway through. Torrey Hunter Jr. sneaks one past the infield, a slow roller, so he's going to go for the double. Can he make it? Nope, he gets caught right there. He disagrees, as well as the fans. Let's get a little replay, see what we think. hard to tell from that angle. Close call nonetheless. The fans, though, they were fired up. Same inning, Orlando Martinez at bat. That's going to be Ray Patrick Ditter taking off, and he gets called too, and he definitely thought he was safe, asking for timeout there. Then the Barons are going to roll late in the game. Trash Pandas going to fall 5-1 in game one. Detmers did strike out 10 batters, though, on the night.